does the craziest shit. Somehow he lands, or somehow he'll miss a punch and somehow he'll take down.
He's stubborn, man. It's even funny to watch because I give him all the respect. Look, he's so good at what he does, no matter what. And I've said, what did I say before? Like, he's the best fighter in the world. But somehow he makes it look good.
DDP, dude, when he beat Robert Whittaker, I'm like, dude, I'm never gonna count this dude out again. That trend is kind of there right now. But Rob's kind of like the same way.
But Rob strikes better.
For sure. But it's the mixing of the fight.
Yeah, mixing it up. It happens in MMA. There's always phases. Like there was a phase where the strikers were on top.
The wait is almost over as UFC 319 is just on the line, and Khamzat, Chimaev, and DDP are all set to knock each other down in Chicago. Meanwhile, UFC legend Jon Jones has shared his thoughts about the Khamzat versus DDP fight and said he's a big fan of Khamzat Chimaev and appreciates the respect Chimaev has shown him, calling it a reflection of his character and humility. Jones feels honored by the compliment and confirms he will watch Chimaev's fight. He stresses he's not rooting for either side, simply enjoying martial arts and hoping both fighters go on to have long, successful MMA careers.
Khamzat Chimaev said that you are the scariest guy in MMA.
That's a huge compliment coming from Khamzat. I'm a big fan of Khamzat. I don't think he has any reason to toot my horn or to even be humble. He doesn't have to be. I mean, heavyweights fear him, and the fact that he has so much respect for me really means a lot. It shows me a lot about his character, his humility to be able to compliment someone in such a huge way. So I'm very grateful and honored.
Will you watch his fight against DDP?
Absolutely. I absolutely watch his fight. I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm just a big fan of martial arts. I want to see them both go on and have long, prosperous MMA careers. I will watch the fight for sure.
But you cannot say who is the favorite, right?
No, I don't really have a favorite. You know, I just enjoy the sport. You know, may the best man win. I hope they both have great careers.
On the other hand, Tom Aspinall also reacted to this matchup, saying the more he watches Dricus Du Plessis, the less he understands him. He insists he will never believe Du Plessis will lose again, as he always finds a way to win. Aspinall also praises Khamzat Chimaev as a beast, noting that if Chimaev gets back control and starts a cycle of dragging opponents down, attacking submissions, striking and wearing them out, he can be dominant. He admits that he doesn't know who wins, which is why he loves MMA, because matchups like this are unpredictable.
DDP, I've got no idea. The more I watch him, the less I know about him.
It is super interesting, but Tom, how do you see the fight going? Who wins?
I will never, ever think that DDP is going to lose again. Wow. I just don't know. He just finds a way to win. Against Khamzat Chimaev, though, someone that I've shared a card with a couple of times, in Abu Dhabi, funny enough. Khamzat Chimaev is an absolute beast, man. And if he can get that back control and start that cycle that he does, of dragging guys to the ground, going for the submissions, punching them from there, punishing them, tiring them out. So, mate, the answer is, I don't know. That's why we love MMA, though. That's why we love it, because fights like this, they come around every now and again, and you just don't know.
On the other hand, Dricus Du Plessis said his upcoming fight would be another defining chapter in his career. He acknowledged his opponent's skills, but insisted the result would once again shock people. He predicted the fighter many expect to dominate would instead crumble in fight night, leaving the middleweight division with only one real threat: himself.
He is a special fighter. He's incredibly good. But, jeez, I can't wait. This win for me is going to be history. I am going out there and I'm going to shock the world once again. Like every other time, and everybody said, it's impossible, not this guy, not this guy. And I'm going to go out there and you're going to see the boogeyman. You're going to see him break. You're going to see him break in there. And then realize there's only one boogeyman, and that's me. In the middleweight division, there can be only one boogeyman, and that will be me.
Dricus Du Plessis admitted Khamzat Chimaev would be his toughest challenge yet, but said being the underdog was nothing new. He noted that every title defense comes with a dangerous opponent and believed this fight was no different. Confident in his skills, he promised to show his continued growth and prove why he's still the champion.
You're an underdog heading into this fight. Is this going to be the toughest fight for you yet?
Well, I mean, yet to lose means that I have to lose some time, and I don't need that. I have 2 losses in my career. I know how it feels, and I'm completely fine if I never feel it again. But I'm the underdog. I've been the underdog most of my career, but yet I am the champion. So, you know, odds don't make fights. And for me, I 100% believe this is the best opponent that I've faced to date, but so was the previous one. You know, every time that you step in there, you are going to face the next most dangerous guy, especially as a champion. So for me, yes, this is the best fighter that the best opponent I've ever come up against. But once again, I will show my improvements and why I'm the champion.
Khamzat Chimaev also expressed respect for Dricus Du Plessis, noting that unlike many others who avoided him, the champion had been calling for this fight even before his last bout. He said it was rare to see opponents actively seeking the challenge, which made him appreciate DDP's willingness to face him.
I don't know, I believe him. When I've talked to him about it, and I remember even before he fought his last fight, he was saying, I want that guy. I want Khamzat. I want the guy that people think is the scary guy.
Respect that. So not everyone saying that, you know. So a lot of guys was running away from me, you know. So he gets the champ and he says I want to fight him. It's good. Respect. And what I can say about it. Good for me.
Meanwhile, Michael Bisping said Khamzat Chimaev has shown signs of fatigue in past fights, but continues to fight the same way, driven by his belief that he can finish opponents quickly. He noted that Chimaev often expects to need only a minute, 2 minutes, or at most 1 round to secure a knockout or submission. Bisping called him a special fighter, but admitted cardio could be a concern. He added that Chimaev now works with a new strength and conditioning coach and is training at full intensity.
Khamzat Chimaev has got tired in the past, but he still chooses to fight the same way. That's because he believes in his ability. He believes that all he needs is a minute or 2 minutes, or certainly at tops 1 round with a guy, and he will put them down and he will finish them. And if he doesn't submit them, then he will knock them out. This is the self-belief that Khamzat Chimaev has. He is a very special fighter. However, the cardio could be an issue. We've spoken about that at length. He's got a new strength and conditioning coach. He's pushing himself to the limit.
Michael Bisping says he has always rated Dricus Du Plessis highly and never saw him as underrated. He recalls other panelists labeling Du Plessis as overlooked but disagree, calling him the real deal, a big, strong fighter who can knock out opponents quickly, wrestle, and submit them. Bisping also praises Khamzat Chimaev's dominance, likening him to a hot knife cutting through butter as he runs through everyone in his path.
I'm a big fan of Du Plessis. It's crazy because when we did the UFC 317 weighing show, we had to pick most underrated fighters. And some of the other panel, I think a couple of them had Dricus Du Plessis as underrated. You know, and I was like, I don't know if he's underrated, man. I think he's the real deal. He's a big, strong guy. He's knocking people out. He's wrestling them. He's submitting them. But if you look at Khamzat, right, we know he just goes through everyone like a hot knife through butter.
Caio Borralho also admitted he had often underestimated Dricus Du Plessis in the past, but Du Plessis kept proving him wrong. Still, he viewed Khamzat Chimaev as a unique challenge that many fighters misjudge. Borralho said Chimaev combines wrestling and jiu-jitsu into his own system rather than following a traditional wrestling approach. He believed beating him would require preparation for that specific style, not just for a wrestler, and he wasn't sure if Du Plessis would be ready.
Actually, right now, it's hard to bet against DDP because he always shut my mouth, you know? I always bet against him and he always shut my mouth. So it's hard to bet against him, but it's hard to bet against Khamzat. It's just gonna be how prepared to the Khamzat style. That is not a wrestling style, it's a different thing. That's the mistake that people do a lot. They prepare to fight against a wrestler, and Khamzat it's not pure wrestling. He has a system. He does something different. He puts jiu-jitsu on the wrestling, so he needs to be well prepared, not against a wrestler, but against this Khamzat style. And I don't know if he's gonna be ready for that.
Caio Borralho believed the fight could end quickly, much like Dricus Du Plessis' win over Robert Whittaker. He also felt that if it went into the later rounds, Du Plessis might start taking control.
I feel that this fight can be as fast as the Whittaker fight, like really.
Oh, wow.
I think this fight can be really, really fast, but I can see this fight going to the second, the third round, and then I see some advantage for Dricus, you know what I mean?
In another interview, Caio Borralho leaned toward Khamzat Chimaev but admitted he had been wrong every time he bet against Dricus Du Plessis. He estimated a 60% chance of Chimaev finishing the fight in the first or second round, similar to his bout with Robert Whittaker. However, he gave a 40% chance that Du Plessis could use his size and weight to survive the early storm, which would make the later rounds more favorable for him.
What do you think it's gonna take for DDP to stuff the takedowns in here and still?
Bro, this is crazy because I always bet against DDP and he always shut in my mouth. But I'm feeling like this can be a fight as fast as the fight with Khamzat and Whittaker. Like finishing the first round or beginning of the second round, you know. 60% of me say that Khamzat will finish this fight like real fast. But 40% says that Dricus, with his size and height and his weight, he's a big guy for the division. I think he can stop the takedowns or even survive the first 2 rounds, and then the fight gets better for him. So I'm 60-40 on these 2 options.
UFC legend Daniel Cormier admits he once thought Dricus Du Plessis lacked technical skill, but now sees how effective and dangerous he is. He jokes that DDP is like Homer Simpson, doing everything wrong and still winning, and says he was shocked by how he overwhelmed Israel Adesanya and dominated Sean Strickland. Cormier emphasizes that DDP's unorthodox style works and believes it's time people respect how strong, big, and skilled he truly is.
DDP and Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Who emerges from that?
DDP, man, he is something else, bro. For so long we thought he just was bad. He's not. He's really good. He's like really, really good.
Did you ever see that thing with him? And like he's like they show like a clips of Homer Simpson, like doing everything wrong and somehow winning, and they kind of show like the same.
Good, dude.
That is
bro.
hilarious.
He was just. I was like, okay, so Izzy's gonna just counter him. He's too good. And he got Izzy bad. He was all over Izzy. I mean, he put it on Sean Strickland bad.
Yeah.
That last time. Like,
you gotta respect that style.
He's good, man. He's so big, he's so strong, and he's good.
Daniel Cormier said Khamzat Chimaev's dominance over Robert Whittaker makes him the rightful favorite against Dricus Du Plessis, with odds around -180 feeling accurate. However, he admitted that he has stopped doubting Dricus after the performances he has delivered in recent fights.
Who do you think right now it favors? Because I know you can't make obviously a prediction, but who do you think it favors right now? Because looking at the way Khamzat just disposed of Robert Whittaker.
Robert Whittaker was crazy. So I think, and DDP is gonna be like, what the hell, dude? I think when the line comes out, and I'm pretty sure it's out already, you guys can check it. Khamzat will probably be a favorite. And I think it's because of what you see.
Yeah, -180.
Khamzat is -180. And I think just when you look at it, that's probably
pretty big
about right. But I don't know, man. I'm done doubting Dricus Du Plessis.
Meanwhile, Brendan Schwab called Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis a huge matchup, pointing to Dricus' size and resilience. He said an early finish from Khamzat wouldn't be surprising, but was more curious to see how Khamzat would handle the later rounds. Schwab noted that both fighters bring something unique and haven't faced an opponent like the other, which added to the intrigue.
Khamzat's big, right? Khamzat's big. DDP's my size. I don't know if you know.
Nowhere.
You seen the picture of him and Bisping? Bisping's a big dude. DDP dwarfs big. DDP is walks around about 240. The first round, of course, if Khamzat wins, and if it ends before 2 rounds, it's Khamzat all day. I would extend that after seeing this to even the first 3 rounds. 4 and 5 is what I want to see. I want to see Khamzat in the 4th and 5th. And if Khamzat's lighting his, because DDP is going to be tough to finish. So if Khamzat's in the 4th and 5th finish him, then you got one. So for Khamzat, it's going to be dealing with that mass.
Who has DDP fought that's even close to that style, that explosive, shoot from 10 feet out, grab you, not let go till he gets what he wants?
That's why it's a great fight. Because DDP hasn't fought anybody like Khamzat, and Khamzat hasn't fought anybody like DDP.
Moreover, Ali Abdelaziz said a healthy and focused Khamzat Chimaev is hard to bet against. He explained that Khamzat's cardio issues only began after his battle with COVID, which had a serious impact. Now that Khamzat is back in Russia and locked in for camp, Ali expects a stronger version of him. He still credited Dricus Du Plessis as a tough, relentless warrior who always finds a way to win, even when it seems unlikely.
Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. How do you feel about this fight, and where do you see this fight?
Remember, Khamzat never have a conditioning problem before this. After COVID, it really messed him up, and I was there. He was bleeding, like throwing up like blood. It was, and he was in Vegas, right? But as far as I know now, he's in Russia. He's in camp. He's focused. It's hard to bet against focused Khamzat, healthy Khamzat, but also this Du Plessis guy. Like the way he wins, I was like, how this guy win? You know, like he's just so tough, so durable. He's a warrior, man. He really is a warrior.
Robert Whittaker feels it is hard to predict who can beat Dricus Du Plessis right now. He describes Dricus as a fighter who wins through grit and determination, refusing to quit no matter what. Robert believes Dricus might only lose to himself rather than being outclassed. He adds that as long as Dricus keeps pushing and digging deep, he is hard to stop, but the moment he cannot, that is when someone might finally beat him.
Who do you think has the best chance of beating Dricus at this point?
Hard to say. You know, I think Dricus is the sort of guy that will lose to himself.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the way he fights, I think it's obviously with every fight, it's very heavy mindset driven. You know, especially for he's tough as nails and he never quits, and he beats a lot of people on the backs of him not going anywhere. You know what I mean? You see a lot of his wins that way. I think like the day that he can't push, the day that he can't find that, is the day that he might lose.
Robert Whittaker praises Dricus Du Plessis as incredibly tough, physically strong, and always putting in the work. When Ariel Helwani asks if Dricus is the champion he envisions beating to reclaim the title, Robert admits he would love to face him again. He says that of all the fights he wants back, the one against Dricus is at the top of the list. While the Chimaev fight is not the easiest experience, he sees the Dricus rematch as the perfect way to finish his story.
He's got a head of steel. He's a tough guy. He's strong. He's physically fit. He puts in the work, you know. Yeah.
When you talked about that dream of winning the belt and riding off into the sunset, is he the champion that you're beating because you have the history with him, or does that not matter who has the belt?
No, I'd like to fight him again.
Yeah, is that one?
That would be the icing on the cake.
Of all the ones that you would like to have back, is that the one at the top of the list?
Yeah, it is. You know, because the Chimaev fight's a very different fight camp, and it's not a super fun, right? But that's the one.
Former UFC champion Robert Whittaker believes Dricus Du Plessis has what it takes to hand Khamzat Chimaev his first loss. He sees the matchup as a brutal test of toughness and endurance, where mental grit decides the outcome. In his view, it is the kind of fight that reveals who truly belongs among the elite. Robert Whittaker said, "Honestly, I have to say Dricus would be the favorite. I think I'm leaning towards Dricus. The whole thing can be summed up like this. Chimaev will take him down, but will he finish him before he gets back up? That's the million-dollar question. Because if he doesn't finish him on the ground." On the other hand, Belal Muhammad predicted Khamzat Chimaev would beat Dricus Du Plessis, saying many underestimate Chimaev's cardio. He agreed with Khabib Nurmagomedov that Chimaev could succeed by striking. While describing DDP as awkward but hittable, Belal said Chimaev's pressure wears opponents down. He emphasized the importance of placing in a 5-round fight, but still picked Chimaev, calling him sharper both standing and on the ground.
Who do I got, DDP or Chimaev? Honestly, I mean, I think too many people are counting out Chimaev's cardio. I think where Khabib said it best, if he stands up with him and strikes with him, I think he'll do well. DDP is an awkward style, but he does get hit a lot. And he breaks a lot of guys with fatigue. If Chimaev doesn't come out super hard in the first round, trying to take him down and letting out all his energy, I think he'll be fine if he keeps it standing. And then maybe the later rounds, you try to wear on him a little bit, but you don't want to go out for that kill in the first round. And DDP just plays defensively. He's strong, obviously. And then you end up burning yourself out for 4 rounds. So he needs to be smart, especially in this 5-round fight. But I got Chimaev. I think Chimaev's a lot crisper on the feet. And definitely crisper on the ground.
Davey Grant also said that if Khamzat Chimaev failed to finish in the first 2 rounds, the advantage would shift to Dricus Du Plessis. He described DDP's style as unusual but effective and noted that it consistently worked for him while also highlighting his size for the division.
I think it's obviously, if Khamzat doesn't beat him in the first 2 rounds, then it's got to go to Dricus, I think.
Yeah. Well, what do you think's more likely?
For DDP, you know, he just keeps proving. It's weird because you watch him and like no disrespect to him, but it's like he's got a strange style, you know. And it's sort of like it looks as if it shouldn't, but it does, you know. Like he's yeah. And I've heard I can't remember if I've ever seen him in person, but I've heard he's huge for the weight as well.
However, former UFC champion Chimaev Hill leans toward Dricus Du Plessis, largely because of DDP's awkward striking style, which he says makes it tough for opponents to anticipate or counter. He points out that when Dricus lands clean, the shots tend to do real damage. At the same time, Hill acknowledges Khamzat Chimaev's elite grappling and well-rounded skills, calling it a close and intriguing matchup.
I just believe Dricus has a really, really awkward way of throwing strikes that's not easy to time and get a read on. So I believe he will land, and when he lands, it's obviously has devastating effect. So I probably lean more towards DDP, but you can't kind of count a guy like Khamzat out. I believe he's one of the best natural pure grapplers in the sport, and he does have an ability to throw some hands too. So it's interesting.
Chimaev Hill admits DDP has surprised him before and keeps proving people wrong. Hill notes that DDP might appear tired at times, but he keeps pushing with solid cardio and surprising strength for the weight class. In contrast, he points out that Khamzat Chimaev has shown signs of fading in longer fights, which could play a big role in how things unfold.
I probably favor DDP in that one, just for the simple fact of I've doubted this dude so many times now, and he's shut me up bad every time. So, and I've come to understand like how his posture kind of works, which it may look like he's like fatiguing or he's like slowing down, but he's really not. You know, I think he's got the better cardio, and I believe he could be his physical strength, I believe, can pose a problem for anybody in that division. And Khamzat, we've seen Khamzat fade. We've seen Khamzat fade over the course of rounds before.
So that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Share your predictions for this matchup in the comments section and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about UFC.